up here, and one of these teams going to leave here with a blemish on their record.
Damn, okay. I guess I just pulled up the wrong notes. But yeah, they're both undefeated. They are currently right now, I think XSV they don't have yes, so this will be the head to head in week 5. So playing this match will kind of determine how the seeding will kind of go for the rest of the week, kind of similar to what happened with Ember Magma last week. You had two 3-0 teams going against each other and now vying for that top spot. So now you kind of have the same thing going on now on a nice little Tuesday here the following week. So both these teams playing for that top spot, 7 teams. So it is a single round robin. So whoever wins this, they will win that head to head and they will lock in that, or for the most part, they will kind of hang on to that number 1 seed, so they get that first bye from the quarters.
Absolutely, and you've also got to consider that TSI always plotting. They've already lost a series up against Crowd Control. In-house did take a game, but weren't able to claim the series. So they are on a bye this week watching both of these teams. They're hoping to be able to grab a win off of XSV Hydra next week. Hydra just can't catch a break facing the two toughest opponents in back-to-back weeks. No bye to cling to as we start the draft now. Going to see more targeted bans coming through here. CCI on the blue side, XSV on the red side, and our two premier orgs, not just here in Ember, but in all Ember-capped leagues. Interested to see the priorities right away. XSV Hydra understand that Spartan in the jungle for CCI is their best player. Going for the Rek'Sai ban, the Pantheon ban. I'm surprised no Hecarim ban. It is their most played with over 130 games, but the win rate's really not that impressive.
Yeah, a lot of it already looking at these bands, very basic, simple bands. Yeah, like when you're watching like a lot of pro play, you see a lot of these bands coming out. The only real targeted ban is the Hecarim. That's a little bit more of a niche pick, but you see a lot of Rek'Sai, you see a lot of Pantheon. Aphelios is kind of around there. Same thing with the Aurora. You kind of flex them around anywhere. So kind of banning away those strong, flexible picks here. As you said, they're both these teams are top of the cards because like if we're breaking it down here, if Crowd Control loses, they'll drop to 3rd seed because they lose the head-to-head to TSI and XSV. So if XSV and TSI go undefeated for the next 2 weeks, then they'll lock in that number 1, number 2 seed here. And already Crowd Control locking in that first pick Civi here, very strong, safe scaling pick here.
Yeah, and it makes sense considering how stable Zokiez has been for them. One of the better players in the entire league, one of the highest KDAs, consistently a scaling option for the squad. XSV do pick up right away a ton of CC with the Ashe, Ornn. Epic Fail Guy, 80 carry for XSV. I like this pick for them. They have 9.8 CS per minute throughout the course of this season, and the ability to get that much gold and experience into your carry has proven extremely fruitful. He's been able to carry most games. This is the highest average gold per minute, as well as that CS per minute. The response picks, though, make a lot of sense. The Mundo for Alcoholic in the top lane for CCI, one of his most played champs, loves the tanks up in this top side. And Olaf jungle for Spartan, right up his alley. He loves getting these picks where he can just kind of run down his opposing champs.
Yeah, I really like seeing Olaf. Olaf is kind of like a weird niche pick just because like when you're playing something like Ashe, you depend on that kiting ability, but with the Ragnarok, you kind of just completely flat out deny that kiting. So you really like to see this Olaf pick here from the side of Crowd Control in-house. I don't even know how to say that name. That's yeah, it's some Roman characters, but we're gonna see how Crowd Control in-house's jungler plays that because now it's a Trundle pick. So I really like to see Hydra. They're kind of playing this counter style of drafting where they're kind of just replying to whatever Crowd Control picks, and then Crowd Control they're kind of picking up these champions that are pushing the initiative, trying to run down the rest of Hydra.
Yeah, it is the safest method when you get on or red side. When you're in this first game, red side, you counter whatever the other team picked, and then you blind your safest option. Or in top blind is extremely safe, especially when you get the trundle on your own side of the rift. Especially when the other team picks a pretty neutral lane, that Mundo trundle head to head. The pick is good here, and I don't think it's the end of the world to drop the bottom lane, because when we see these pro games, like the top level, they pretty effectively decide like what are the best pairings, what are the best duos, and Ashe Seraphine has emerged as one of the better bottom lanes because of the synergy with the beat drop E on Seraphine, where you can get the snares right away because Ashe slows every auto attack. But I'm not too worried about XSV dropping it and it potentially getting banned, because in lower elos like Emerald, it's so rare that they're going to go for what's best. They like to go for comfort. They like to go for what they are best at. And that is oftentimes what is the best option, because these players can play extremely well when they are comfortable. And with 3 more mid bans and Braum being taken out, XSV have to blind something here after matching every single role. I would think they're going to get a support here. But that's a flex. Who knows where Brand could go?
Ooh, Brand. That you don't see Brand very often because I think Brand did just get a buff on 26-4 for the
Mhm.
jungle. Because I could imagine that's going mid lane probably could possibly be flex support, but it's you don't see Brands very often. It's a very immobile champion. The wave clear is pretty decent, but nothing crazy, no buffs in the lane. So this is a very niche pick coming out from Hydra here. So we're gonna see what they counter with. And it looks like it could be that Galio mid there getting put to use on that brand. So you kind of have that flexibility. So crowd control, they have a really tanky composition here. Playing mostly to kind of scale up, play with these team fights and that Sivir to kind of push the tempo a bit in these team fights whenever objectives roll around.
Yeah, I really want to see them get something in the bot lane. Now, I didn't even get to finish my point. I was going to say I want to see them get something that can enchant and empower the Olaf and Sivir. They want to match the poke that Brand can likely bring in the bottom lane with some of their own. So they grab up the Xerath. Does give them a lot of long range damage that you don't typically get when you lock in the Sivir, as she's quite low range. But will provide them a decent amount of damage, spikes well on one item in that support role if they go for the Ludens or the Horizon focus. And last pick will be Seraphine, so it is brand mid, you were correct. This bot lane duo is fantastic and will do very well into Sivir Xerath because of the sustain that Seraphine provides. But Brand into Galio, I think is going to be really good as long as he can stay out of the way of that dash in that Galio has. Brand should be able to put down a ton of damage as we are heading right onto the Rift.
I love oh, it's Galio support. Okay, that's you don't see that very often. Um, honestly, blinding Galio supports, it's very interesting because I always like to, as a purveyor of Galio support myself, I usually like to play Galio into like AP compositions that, like kind of like Galio's really good counter engaged because in the 2v2, Galio just does an unholy amount of base damage. It's crazy. So it's gonna be Xerath mid with exhaust and first strike against Brand mid with teleport and comet. So I really don't think Brand's gonna make use of that comet super well here. Plaque should be able to farm up as much gold as he can off of that first strike, as I would expect. But otherwise, looking at the rest of the summoners and spells across the map, nothing too crazy here. Is already some nice juicy trading in the mid lane.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see them go
Oh,
for that flex. Oh, no.
Sutek, he's looking for that invade because I don't even know how to say that name, man. Did you?
It's
Yeah.
Greek for Spartan.
Oh, Spartan. Oh, that's pretty cool. And let's see who gets a smite, and it's
Goodness.
going to be Sutek. He's going to get that level 2, force to flash over the wall, but Sutek is going to flash forward with the chomp, and he will get that first blood off rip. Very unfortunate there for Spartan not to be able to get that smite down at 30 HP.
It's an unbelievably cocky start for Sutek, who's listed as the top lane starter for XSV. As we get into this game, we're seeing a lot of subs and changes here. I'm gonna assume that Epic Fail guy is on support, even though they think they're a big shot. Got streamer mode on. Nobody watching your streams. Satyuki is another sub for them. So these are all listed subs, so nothing to worry about admin side. But this, I mean, that is a hell of a confident start for Sutek to come in here as the role swap jungler and just invade level 1, take advantage of the misspite, get the first blood, and he's not risking anything. Immediately runs all the way across the map to his own bottom side to make sure none of his own camps get stolen.
And that's just a really good job to know the strength of his own champion and just punish this Olaf early, because Olaf did start Q, so his 1v1 potential isn't the greatest in the world. Especially since Sutek does have that lethal. So it is subs, mid lane, and jungler for the side of XSV, and CCI do have all their starters up here. But so far, I mean, surprisingly, mid lane Plaque is down like 12 CS, so that's kind of surprising, honestly, especially with that range advantage.
Yeah, Xerath always ends up in this awkward position. Do I use my abilities to poke? Do I use my abilities to clear the wave? Whereas Brand, as long as Brand hits anything, he's able to hit the entire wave once that E is used. The conflagration. Oh, Jesus.
Conflagrate.
Conflagration. That's an incredible
Conflagration? Ugh.
ability name for Brand there. I know I just got used to all of the Mbessa ability names, the repudiations and all of that, but Brand, like I said, you just hit your W on any of the minions, you can hit all of them. And now Plaque, very low on mana, but has managed to get a decent chunk
Does get
down.
a nice little stun there, but Setyuki does have a lot more mana, does pop the exhaust, no more mana on Plaque, so not really going to get too much out of that one. So forcing Setyuki to reset, does have that teleport, but Spartan will be there mid lane to help push that wave in, try to deny some money from Sutek, or Setyuki here. But otherwise, I mean, looking across the lanes, it's about a 600 gold lead in favor of XSV. CS across the map is relatively even, just slight leads for the ADC and mid lane there, CCI and XSV respectively. So nothing too crazy here. I honestly don't really expect too much out of this game until about maybe like second Drake spawn or Herald spawn.
Yeah, it's like you said with this Galio flex down here. Does decent into the Seraphine just because it can withstand all of the poke damage. And also, as you mentioned, this champion just has ungodly base stats. Only thing stopping Galio from solo killing you mid lane is mana. As right now, he's
That's
going in
gonna
with
be
the
an
taunt.
engage. Ash gonna get chunked to about half HP heal going through. Zokiaz gonna get ran down with the volley here, but Ash still has that ghost on, does have that footwork, and Sutek will claim the second kill of the game there. So that's a nice little cover there by Sutek.
Yeah, great job walking down, went through the lane as well, knew that they were going to be able to find and engage. And at the end there, that's the worry of Galio's disengage ability. People think of it as a very mobile champ because it has that dash, but the Justice Punch, that little back step you've got to do can get you in a lot of trouble. And in this bottom lane, I don't really see an instance where Seraphine should ever walk up close enough to give Galio an opening to try and make an engage happen when it isn't a bait by the side of XSV. The bot lane play will translate into a dragon start, and Epic Fail guy doing a good job keeping Galio out of this bottom lane river, and the mid prio should make this a free take for XSV.
Yeah, very nice job. Sutek is really low here. Gonna have to be almost. If he actually got hit with that Q, I think he would have actually died there. But nice stun onto Setyuki, and he'll get that kill in the mid lane there. Plaque a little bit too comfortable there.
Yeah, I've done that before, and like in ARAMs or Swift play games, you're playing a long range mage, and you're looking on the map, or you're looking at somewhere your character isn't, trying to make sure all of your abilities line up, and then you go back to your character, and you're like, oh, someone's right on top of my head killing me. That ends up happening for Plaque in this mid lane, and all the places you want to be ahead are ahead for the moment. Trundle getting a ton of gold put into that pocket. Brand now picking up a kill. Bax gets the blasting wand, another book, some boots. Absolutely full up. Would probably like to have the lost chapter that Xerath has at their disposal now, but didn't prioritize the components as well as they could have. And bottom lane just scaling up as Spartan goes up top lane.
Yeah, they get a little damage down. Slows onto Blingo. Gonna have to flash away. Almost had that. Olaf almost had that E there, so possibly could have looked for that kill. So forces that flash out. There comes the Ram at the top lane. As Spartan does flash away from that one, so I'm gonna have to use my context clues there a little bit. So, oh man, Spartan, he's gonna get caught out here, gonna get hit with the pillar, but he ain't gonna look for a fight. He's gonna try to run away, and that's gonna be a 3-0 trundle here at about 7 minutes for the side of XSV. Sutek taking full advantage of that power early.
That was very well done for Sutek. He realized that they didn't have mid-prio, so he couldn't go for the straight invade, so he decided to just try and stop backs and realized, wait, Spartan just flashed to get away from the Ornhorn. He's got no HP. I just put the pillar down and grab myself another kill. Recalls, hasn't yet finished the Triforce, but he's extremely close. Now we see bot lane. He's pushing in successfully. Spell Shield.
Oh, look at all that chain CC coming down, and that's going to be goddamn streamer mode. Epic fail guy picking up that kill in the bot lane as Zoki has a little bit too anxious there for that tower. As Plaque forced to flash away in the mid lane there using both his summoners. So CCI, they're having a bit of a rough time here in this early game.
Yeah, XSV is really just pushing the tempo all over the map. You see in that bot lane why this Ashe Seraphine has become such an extremely strong duo. Doesn't matter, even champs that have the built-in abilities to deny some of these skill shots to land, the Seraphine charm and whatnot, it still doesn't matter, it just overwhelms you. And the beat drop had the echo aspect of it too, so even if a slow didn't land, they still would have been able to get the snare down as Satuke does claim the grubs in all. They have the turret plate advantage as well as Blingo. Doesn't have any mana here.
He should just be able to walk out. Not too much damage from the Mundo quite yet. Nice little sidestep from the Cleaver. But like, you just looked at the gold like just a second ago. It's crazy. Like, even though Plaque has that first strike, he's not really making too much use of it. He's down 30 CS. He's down damn near 1,000 gold. Same thing Sutek. Sutek is up about 1,000 gold on his lane opponent. But that Tribush ward in the bot lane will spot out a possible dive angle. As top lane, now, he knows Spartan is bot lane, so Sutek will look to cross map. Alcoholic does not have he does not have flash, so call the Forge God coming through. He should be good. Oh, no, he's not. Never mind. The passive didn't show. But Sutek will claim another kill for himself. He is all over this rift, just constantly picking up leads for XSV.
It was a really awkward looking interaction because the passive for Mundo got popped because the pillar was placed right underneath his feet, and so he didn't get slowed, but did have that passive popped. So that means when the call of the Forge God comes through, he actually gets knocked up, and even through all the maximum dosage healing, that Subjugate proves to be enough of a drain. Now the Triforce is completed, boots on feet as well, 1.5 gold lead for the jungler of XSV, and I talked about it during the draft. These are two of the premier orgs in this elo range, and I mean, CCI, we've seen them really hard stomp teams through Spartan in the past, but this game it's just failed attempt after failed attempt.
Yeah, because like if we're just breaking down like who they face Stun Gaming, so a nice little mid-card team there, 1 and 2. They played TSI, which is a good top 3 team actually, so they did beat them there. They played White Lotus Clover, which is another a bottom tier team, and they played Spaghetti Spire, which is a slightly below middleweight team. So, I mean, outside of TSI, they've kind of played some pretty bottom rung teams here. So they're kind of just getting outclassed this game here. XSV Hydra came to play here trying to claim that first seed. So right now it's about a 2.5k gold lead as Drake will get started up by XSV on spawn. 420 is going to spot that out there, but No real convergence here. It's going to be a bit of a pinch. Let's see who they go on to, and that's going to be the Encore, only onto one. Going to be Sun's lock onto the Galio here, but he's still going to get that Hero's Entrance in, and that's going to be Olaf picking up that first kill here, as once again, Plaque is going to get taken down here. Sutek just absolutely demolishing the Galio, but it's going to be a bit of a smite fight here. Who's going to pick it up? And it's going to be Sutek. And once again here, XSV went out on the fight here. Only it's going to be a 1-for-3 trade here, and the Drake.
I know it looks so promising to start, and a solo kill in the top lane for Blingo while all that madness is going on at the Dragon. It started so well for CCI. They kill the enemy AD carry quickly, but once you have that moment over, you realize, you zoom out and say, we just used every single one of our ultimates to kill the Ashe. And for that, we're all stuck now in this Dragon area. Our mid laner died because he wasn't looking at his screen. He was trying to hit his ults onto the enemy Seraphine. Everyone's out of danger, and now Trundle shows up. So you really have to contextualize the way they started off that fight. And maybe it would have been worth it for them to just take a breather and wait until they could actually get something for all their cooldowns. They don't win the smite either, so Trundle able to pick up that Dragon. A lot of hovering going on down here now, and I think it's very smart. For as far ahead as this bottom lane of XSV feels, they have not been able to hit this turret very continuously, so that crystalline overgrowth has built up quite a lot. They really need to get an auto down on this turret, and they're just not going to be able to because of all the wave clear for Sivir.
Sokiaz is surprisingly a little bit ahead in gold here, despite being down a kill and an assist. So, I mean, Sivir, you really can't do anything against a Sivir. Oof, big chunk there with the Conflagrate in the mid lane and the passive damage. But bot lane, I mean, it's a Sivir, you know, it's really hard to play into a Sivir. You need to kill her, and if you ever want to get any ounce of tower damage here, Sivir up about 12 CS here. So it's kind of playing for that win con. So at this point, I mean, CCI kind of got to decide, like, hey, let's just not do anything. Let's just kind of ride it out and play towards our win con of this server, because right now everybody else on the map is down a couple thousand gold here, roughly about 4,000 gold, just purely from the top side here. Galio looking for, I think he's going for a, was a rocket belt? He's going for a rocket belt, which is very interesting to see from a support Galio. You don't see that too often. Yeah, I usually go I forgot what that other dead, it's not a dead man's plate, it's the other one. The support one.
Trailblazer?
Yeah, Trailblazer. I usually go Trailblazer, and you should go full tank, but to each their own.
It's a great item. You can't really make use of any of the immolation items, the Hollowed Radiance you typically go in the mid lane as Sukdek. I don't think he's going to hold up here. Yeah, he's got Galio.
Yeah, he's going to get hit with the arrow, Enchanted Crystal arrow here. Beat drop not quite going to land, so he will just have to flash on out there. Next crucial objective is Herald in about 15 seconds here. But yeah, 420 is kind of going a little too deep here for some wards. You know, gonna have to be really careful, because Ashe can pretty much arrow anybody and they'll just get completely blasted. Oh, that's outside of the Sivir and the Olaf. But Sutek gonna get spotted on a ward here. He knows that Galio does not have the flash. Gonna block the Justice Punch with the pillar, and he will just get ran down here. The Spirit Beat Drop gonna go down there, and that's gonna be the flash away from the Encore from Zokiaz. And that's going to be Sutek 601, roughly 60% KP this game so far. As now CCI is going to try to look for a bit of a cross map top lane here. As flash over the wall from Spartan. He does have the Ragnarok. Here comes the Call of the Forge God as Blingo. He is pretty much full armor, but he should get taken down here. Does not have flash anymore. Let's see if he can pick up anything else here. They're going to use a lot of damage with the Brittle, but Blingo will finally get taken down here by Spartan. Spartan will pick up his second kill of the game there. Sutek using that move speed to his advantage, trying to run away there. And there comes Call of the Arcane. Sutek going to get hit with 2 of 4. So now Sutek is in a really bad spot. Who's going to pick up this shutdown here? Because this is going to be a big chunk of gold for whoever can claim this one. And no, not the Galio. No, don't take that one. And it's going to be Sutek getting donated over to Spartan. 330 now. So that's a lot of gold. I think that was like 600 gold shutdown going over.
Yeah, I'm also not really sure it even had to go over. I feel like if Sutek had just committed to one of the targets, Mundo or Olaf. He maybe could have killed one and gotten out, but did not want to make the risk and was undecisive for too long, ends up going down. But across the map, one of the biggest outcomes of these previous plays has been that bottom lane is now about equal in the AD carry position. Sivir had been ahead of Ashe for quite some time, even considering all of the action, but now Ashe has gotten ahead, if not slightly. The Cull Gold has been neutralized because of the kills and the assists, and even with that kill on Trundle top lane, we are now fighting over this Soul Point. Hex Tech Dragon would be massive if XSV could pick this up.
It's going to be a really big 5v5 here. Spartan going to use that Ragnarok running straight onto the Seraphine, but she will get on out there. That's going to be a hero's entrance into the back line, forcing Sutek to flash away also. So lots of damage onto Spartan, but they're trying to run down the Ashe. Lots of split fights here, but CCI are on the better end of the deal. So Seraphine and what is that? I can't really tell. The Trundle are below half HP. You got 3 members below half HP here, and XSV, they are holding this line here, surprisingly. Set Yuki does have a teleport if need be. Same thing with the Ornn. So that's going to be the Drake started up by CCI. And XSV, they're going to keep playing this do-si-do here, surprisingly. Call the Arcane coming down here. Lots of damage trying to look for that Seraphine. Call the Forge God going down. Is only going to hit up onto 2. And that's going to be a big encore now into the back line. That's going to be a Galio, the first person to go down. Alcoholic. The juice will not be enough here. And Olaf will get taken down by the Brand. So it's going to be a team fight victory here for XSV. Flash force at Yuki. Gonna get exhausted, dodging away. Happy Feet there with the stun. And that's going to be everybody going down here from the side of CCI. And it's going to be a 1-for-5 ace here for XSV as they claim Soul Point.
Oh, so promising for CCI once again. They force the surround sound out of Seraphine so early in the first skirmish. So even though the fight got split up, Seraphine could not heal everyone. The items are perfect. Doesn't have the Delia just yet with that stacked tier, but has the Tears of Hylia available. So they could have healed up quite a bit if they had the abilities available. But they kill Trundle and then just wait. It's a Hex Tech map. The gates are available as soon as Trundle respawns. He's able to get back to the Drake pit so fast. And now Blingo is able to use those very same gates to get to the enemy blue buff and try and get some pressure down onto Spartan in the jungle. I think it's funny that Sutek is replacing it in this game, at least, the jungler in this league with the highest kill participation per game, and he's picking up right where that guy left it. What is the hell is he doing?
Oh man, yeah, I don't know. Like, you built Zaza Realm Spike with a rocket belt. Like, what? With heal? Like, I don't get it. I really don't get it. I've never seen this build before. It's pretty crazy. As top lane, Alcoholic gonna get hit with the pillar, breaking the passive there. But like, I don't know. It's like the biggest thing with CCI is like their comp is just so bad at team fighting. Like they have zero, like outside of like Sivir, Olaf, like they don't really have anything that kind of sticks together. Like you have Xerath that wants to poke, and then you have Mundo and Galio as like the front line. But Galio really isn't all that tanky, so he just kind of gets blasted because the primary damage from XSV is AD from the Trundle and the Ashe, so Galio just gets completely blasted anytime he tries to go forward. And
yeah,
I don't know.
I feel like really the call was maybe like, do we want to flex this? And 420 Dilo was like, yeah, I know how Galio works, but doesn't really like know how it works. Because another really telling thing is they went Aftershock, which if you're gonna go tank Galio makes perfect sense. But if you're going AP Galio, you'd probably want to go Phase Rush so you can stick on the target and keep getting the auto attacks with those big colossal smashes down. I know you're in support, so Phase Rush not really the wisest unless you're like Alistar, but yeah, it's a lot of interesting decisions. And Olaf being a primary damage dealer, it works if the Olaf gets ahead and is able to, get items, get in these skirmishes, but this
Blingo?
Olaf was behind. Oh, but Blink is way out of
he's
position.
about to get up ahead, a little bit ahead here. Let's see if Zokias can get that kill. Nope, Spartan will take that one first here. But back to what you were saying, Oh, Ashe. Oh, man. Oh, Plaque. Oh, that's just Irish Spring Green. He hit every single one of those there. As Baron will be pinged up here. That's going to be two crucial engages here from the side of XSV getting taken down. So now it's going to be Platt getting a little bit of mid lane priority there. As, oh, there, he's just going straight on in here. The Seraphine's going to get caught on out here. Use the flash already, or does not have flash yet. He already used the heal. Justice Punch right onto Sutek here. They're going to try to chase him down. There goes the beat drop, and that's going to be right onto 3. Can I stall that out? But there goes the Olaf going straight forward there with the Ragnarok, and that's going to be Leventian is just going to kill his own jungler as Alcoholic. He's under the tower. That's going to be the Kira's entrance right into the mid lane. Sutek, or Set Yuki, is going to get taken down here as Call the Forge God right on top of the Xerath. And it's going to be a 1-for-2 trade here so far, and Baron not started, but it is a lot of gold going over to the side of CCI.
It's been a lot of shutdowns, a lot of really good picks, and I feel like the goal there for XSV at the end was just to try and stall them for as long as possible, prevent any possible Baron start. They are going to pick up the mid lane turret as well, and all of that just started from a couple missed positions, Blingo being way too far forward, Setyuk going too far forward to try and protect him. Seraphine ends up saying, yeah, I gotta hit this blast cone and get out of here. I can't just keep healing you. The cooldowns are too long. Seraphine's biggest weakness is the W cooldown. It's way too long. And now we do see the ornaments coming through. First one, understandably, going on to the Trundle. It actually chose to upgrade the Dead Man's Plate rather than the Triforce, as this is a big bush trap.
He's gonna get caught up here, and that's gonna be a big 3-man knockup by the Ornn. Justice Punch right on top of Ornn. Gonna get a lot of damage down, but Plague will get taken out from us on the other side of the wall there. Ashe is going bananas here with the volley, as the Boomerang Blade will not quite pick up that kill, as the cleanse will come through, but will not be enough. 4-0 for the side of XSV, and they're going to look to push this mid lane here. They're not going to go for that Baron. Alcoholic going to have to reset here from the bot lane here, because I just realized he doesn't have primary teleport. He took Ghost Flash instead. So now XSV, they're going to look to push onto this Baron here. No teleports on the side of CCI, so they are not able to contest this Baron here. And this should pretty much go the way of XSV.
Yeah, and they're also losing Soul at the same time. Trundle is soloing the Hextech Soul now in XSV's pocket at the same time. As you mentioned, Baron is taking by the squad. That last team fight won so handedly. They didn't even have to use the Seraphine ultimate. Encore never had to be expelled. And I mean, she's essentially full build at this point. With the Tears of Helya, the Diadem songs, there's so much healing that can come out of this champion right now.
Ooh.
It's so constant too. A lot of people aren't fully understanding just how strong this new tier item is on champs that can provide shields. Every time a shield is active on the champion that has it, they start healing based on their mana consistently to all nearby champions, and Seraphine's W heals based on number of nearby champions. So if you can keep that up during fights, keep the stage presence high so you can continue double casting it, it's so impossible to kill any target on the team with this champion.
Oh, absolutely. Diadem's song and Echoes of Helia, they're just so they synergize so well, because Echoes of Helia works off of however much damage you do pre-mitigated turns into a heal with no cooldown. So, and then Diadem's song, it heals every second here. Bot lane, they're going straight for the pick, sacrificing 2 ults for that one. But that's going to be the hero's entrance coming in. But that might be a bit of a blunder, as he will get taken down here. Not quite going to get the stun. At 420, he will get taken down straight under the tower. Zokiaz, he will also get blown up here, as this is going to be 4 members of CCI just immediately getting destroyed there in the top lane. Just back to back to back to back, unfortunately. 8-27, 9.4k gold lead, and I think XSV are looking for that finish.
Yeah, they wanted to try and help their friend Flack, but it just ended up being one after another going down. Top turret and Inhib fall as well. Alcoholic doing their best, but Mundo's already got his vacation gear on. He is not looking to actually get into a skirmish. Next starts down. Game 1 goes to XSV.
Oh, it's rough. Like, you know it's rough? Because the Mundo didn't get a single Heartsteel stack. Oof. And he just bought his, like, second item. It's like, oof. This game was, it was just an absolute stomp.
Yeah, I think there were a lot of little mistakes starting in the draft for CCI. I kind of understand a majority of their composition, and I feel like if Galio went mid and they had an enchanter, like a Lulu, even I know Nami was banned in that early phase. You could move down to like Milio, which would be good against the Seraphine Ash, although there's so much CC to try to cleanse. It would have made a lot more sense. You would have empowered the Olaf, empowered the Mundo. Sivir would have been able to scale a lot safer in lane. And you can see, Sivir was ahead for quite some time as these damage charts do show that multiple members were able to get a little bit down, but everything just went the way of XSV starting in the early game, and their draft just synergized so well with one another.
Yeah, Sutek he pretty much just ran the jungle. Like that was pretty much it. It was just like he get that first blood, and then from there, Spartan wasn't really able to do too much across the map here. Sutek was always just one step ahead there, on collapses. So I mean, yeah, looking at these damage charts and looking at the gold graph, it's like you can kind of see where CCI were kind of coming back, but then it's like they couldn't really hold it together for the rest of the game, and so it kind of just fell out of their hands. But yeah, 27-8 in the kill score there, about 11k gold lead at the end of that game. So for now, we're going to be taking a quick little break there as we start getting ready for game 2 between CCI and XSV Hydra.
Try to look to the heavens to tell us things that we beg to know. Like what did this all mean? There's no tomorrow. Oh, you know, I try to find a purpose in my life to drive me, to guide me. Oh, doctor, I feel dead inside.
Welcome back, everybody, to week 5 of Ember Scorch. We are on to game 2 between Crowd Control Inhouses and XSV Hydra. XSV Hydra taking a very dominant game 1 victory in about 26 minutes here against the number 1 seeded Crowd Control Inhouses.
Absolutely. And heading into this game 2, we're let know that XSV are swapping over. CCI had side selection and they chose to go over to the red side. They want that last pick. Maybe they can try and find a winning matchup in one of these solo lanes. Maybe they can try and find a winning bot lane matchup. Who knows? But for now, I'm going to assume that a lot of these bans stay the same. We're going to see triple jungle bans out of XSV. They do not want Spartan to be able to run this game. And for crowd control, I expect the targeted bans, the Nami, the Aurora, to come out again.
Yeah, I don't really expect too much different from the bans. I think the bans were fine. It's just like with for a game like this, I kind of want to see crowd control. Oh, they banned Zoe instead of Aurora. For crowd control, I kind of want them to have them a little bit more agency in the draft, kind of have built something a little more cohesive. Because like I mean, looking at their multis, like they have good champs. It's just last game, I mean, they kind of just ran with whatever. It wasn't like super cohesive. So Hydra doing that triple jungle ban, as you said here.
It makes sense. We've seen Spartan against opponents really run things. Gragas, first pick. I was hoping for a Zahan because their top laner plays Zahan. Their top laner is in the jungle this game, and I think Zahan jungle is better than top because it hides a lot of the early lane weaknesses the champ has and allows him to get out into the map when he's ready and able to really stack up stuff. The Gragas pick is also a major takeaway as 420 Weed Dealer in the bottom lane likes playing it support. So now they have a chance they can flex top and jungle.
Ooh, so Hydra definitely having that triple flex because that Gragas could also go jungle. Actually, honestly, it's a 4-way flex, Loki. Or 5-way. Now 4-way. Anywhere except
Yeah,
ADC.
send a support and then Gragas and AD.
Oh yeah, it's great. Like you put Senna with literally any good like kind of tanky, sustainable like tank in the bot lane. Like you got something like Gragas, something like Kench, something like that. It's pretty good. And it looks like CCI, they're just going straight for that Victor Jinx blind here. So very interesting stuff to see here. Curious to see how XSV are going to counter with that mid lane and that ADC pick. But Oh yeah, because Aphelios was banned last game, so they subbed it with the Zoe. So looks like this time around, Zokiaz will get his Aphelios this game.
Yeah,
Or
I mean, it makes sense. Epic fail guy. Not your fault. Streamer
yeah,
mode.
fail guy.
Merchant doesn't have his name on. It's his most played champ. 10 games this season. Hasn't played a ton of solo queue. Sivir was the second most played, and they grabbed that. Orianna. Oh, what a! You don't expect these boring meta matchups in Emerald Cap leagues, but we're getting Orianna Victor. What a fun time. Also, another note, I know I'm going back to the first pick, but the Gragas, not only is it just a solid pick in my opinion, it's another takeaway because it's Spartan's most played if you take out the bans and the Olaf from last game. So essentially they're just continuing to pick away at Spartan's pool, and even though he does have a lot of games played on a lot of champs, he's now all the way down to his 6th most played. The Jax coming through. And honestly, against this team comp, Jax not really getting a ton of value.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised he picked Jax. Gragas is a hard counter to Jax because literally, like, he jumps in with the Counter Strike and he immediately just gets body slammed away, and he kind of just can't do anything. He kind of just standing there looking a little bit silly, and she's blasted. So it looks like he's sad. They're gonna look to pinch the support pool here, trying to kind of put this Aphelios down a little bit, take a little priority away from that bot lane for Hydra. And it looks like Hydra, they're going to start targeting that top side here, trying to give what's it? God darn,
Alcoholic.
I forgot. Yeah, Alcoholic, a favorable matchup there.
I
But for
I
now,
don't like
man,
I don't like these focus, like the support bans for CCI make sense. Like the Sona so comparable to Seraphine, and that Seraphine was great last game. So that makes sense. The Thresh, it's the most played like hook-esque champ for Leventian, so I get it. But I actually think, okay, I don't. The Amumu ban doesn't make any sense. I guess they don't know where Jax is going. But the Yorick ban, it goes into another thing we're talking about scouting and coaching and stuff like that.
ooh,
If they looked and saw that Gnar was one of the most mastery champs, even though it hasn't been played this year, maybe that would have been the focus. All that goes out the window though, because Shen gets picked. Let's hope that this last pick doesn't make them flex it into a weird spot.
please pick Gnar here. Gnar is so good into their team comp. It's so good. Like,
It'd be great.
because I mean Gragas is like he's a kind of a mediocre ball delivery system. It's
Ooh.
okay, and it's a Kane. Wow,
I mean,
we are going off the rails here.
Suke had a good game on the Trundle, and you've only really got 2 melee champs. I think Blue Kayn is just like not fantastic in coordinated 5v5 play. You have a ton of dive with Gragas, and if you have the sustain on Kayn, you can follow up with that. The displacement from the explosive cask will give great angles for Kayn to find knockups, find isolated targets. Bard is fantastic into Victor, into Jinx, stops Jax's engages even. If Leventian can pilot it, I think that that is an excellent pick.
Because looking at what 420 Weed Dealer plays, Bard is pretty much a good counter to pretty much like most of the champs. So
Oh, the
Bard is always a good. I like Bard is like a when it comes to like anything below like tier 1, tier 2 play, Bard is like super niche. But Alistair going to be the lock in here, so it's gonna be Alistair Jinx in that bot lane. So it's like it really depends. It's kind of like dependent on the Bard. If the Bard is like really good, like I'm talking like carry good, then that's just an impossible matchup for the Alistair because like the moment he tries to jump in, he immediately gets stunned and he just gets completely destroyed. But on the other side of the coin, if the Bard isn't like on the timing, then it's just gonna be a really bad time there for the Aphelios Bard, as it is Ignite Bard Ghost Aphelios here, PTA, and what is it? Electrocute for the Bard in that bot lane. So looking at these matchups, honestly, I give a bit of a buff to XSV as Spartan. He's not going to look to fight this, surprisingly. I'm kind of surprised he didn't want to fight it because I can't really tell what he started. I'm assuming he started E. So he would have definitely beat him because he saw him jump over the wall with the Q. So Sutek, no more shenanigans this game here. He's just going to kind of look for a top-down clear. Both junglers doing the same thing.
Yeah, it makes sense. Kane, much weaker level 1 than Trundle. Trundle can steal away stats, as well as deal damage, as well as slow, all with one ability. So he can take those 1v1s, but Kane really just wants to get to his first camp. I am surprised that we started on the top side. Typically you see Kane start on that Raptor camp and clear it much quicker than most champions can. And important to mention, Watercat back in for this game, listed some places as Aquafelis, but it is the starting mid laner for XSV. That's why we're seeing a much more standard pick in the Orianna. And there's a reason this champ has been one of, if not the highest prio champions every single patch this season. It just pairs so well with the jungle pool that is currently being prioed. And speaking of that jungle pool, we were talking about being surprised about the Jax because it struggles into Gragas, which has already been shown, struggles into Orianna. And the next most played for Spartan was Xin Zhao, who does really well into Orianna and Aphelios.
Top lane, is that going to be a solo kill? Oh, Blingo flashing away just before the auto comes through. Alcoholic getting some revenge from last game. As back to the point you were saying, like, yeah, you're right. I mean, Kane, kind of surprised. Like, Orianna is very basic, but like, it's a very staple pick. Like, you kind of play into literally anything, and like, it does pretty well. It's pretty safe, and it's like, the team fight potential is just so good here.
Great Bard stun, great cosmic binding into the wall for Laventian. Goes to show why leagues like this so exciting to watch. You're not getting the same stuff you get at those high levels at any other level really, because prio and patches and champion strength really do not compare to comfort and level of knowledge. I always try and like tangibly tell people why having games on champs is important, and it's not just as simple as understanding the abilities. It's knowing the cooldowns without having to check. It's knowing the ranges, it's knowing your trading patterns, it's knowing what abilities work best in which order. It's so much you get from just repetitions, and being able to play some of these really strong champs at a high clip is so important. And as we see up to this top lane, Alcoholic doesn't have a ton of games on the Shen, but really in a big advantage in a matchup I would assume that Gragas would do decent in.
And he has the phase rush, and he has the sapphire crystal, so I'm assuming he would have done like a lot better, but he's down 15 CS already, so it's a little rough there. Plaque gonna have to be careful. He will get jumped on in the mid lane. They're dropping the gravity field. Let's see if he comes in. That's a flash forward with auto. Sutek picking up first blood once again here on that Kane.
Yeah, this guy's going blue, Kane. I can just tell based on the vibe, based on the confidence carrying over from last game. Momentum is not something tangible that you can track, but it's something you can feel and observe. Really great early gank to come out. And you see the way that he held that Reaping Slash until he knew where the gravity field was going to be placed, so that he could use it not only to get out, but also to put damage down. Not even sure if that flash was necessary. Maybe would have been able to do enough damage with the Blade's reach. Maybe we could have flashed for an auto and then gotten out, but doesn't really matter, because any jungler is going to trade their flash for first blood in their pocket, as we do see some stabilization coming through, and the double range that Bard allows you is just enough to provide push and prio for XSV's bot side.
Yeah, I mean, Jinx, I mean, she's pretty happy. She should be able to sustain a good bit with the Alistar passive. Alistar passive is super slept on, so should be able to kind of sustain that there in the bot lane. Down about a little under 20 CS here, but top lane, lots of trading going back and forth. But yeah, Jinx is down a little bit of gold, but she should be chilling. Blingo does not have the flash there. Alcoholic does have flash, but just enough to use the body slam to get on out of dodge there. But very smart, some decent leads across the map here for the top lane and the bot lane, and it's about a 700 gold lead in favor of XSV, so nothing too crazy there. Spartan gonna look for an invade on Kane's Raptors, but Kane already did a full clear, so nothing really to grab there.
Yeah, it's most of the gold lead is simply in that first blood. Almost everything completely even across the board, and the top lane CS differential doing everything it can to nullify the first blood goal that has come through. Gragas played a bit on the edge there, had just enough mana to use the body slam to get out, and the reason that they had to walk up like that riskily is because they just needed to push the wave under turret so that they could get a back off. They're only able to get the amplifying tome, so it isn't really that back you would have hoped for to get you in this lane, try and get your foot in the door. But it's something, as looks like the call is made to not go for Dragon on that timer. There's camps to catch in the top quadrant. You don't want these camps just sitting there. You have to start cycling, I guess, especially against a champ like Kayn that is going to scale so well into this game.
Oh, absolutely. And with Kayn, I mean, I kind of want to say Rost because Rost is just like a lot better when it comes to pro play or like just comp play in general, like you said before. But like with how Sutek can be a game like this, like you might kind of try to like be a little ballsy here, trying to look to carry the game a little harder. So he could look to opt for that blue king. He hasn't really gained too much, so it doesn't really have anything on the form quite yet. So right now, it's kind of just the game's just kind of leveling out here. Nothing really crazy going on. Jake's pretty much leveling out that lead. It's like that's going to be the ult down from the bard. No real stun coming down here, but it's going to go right on top of the bard. So half HP there already. So not too sure what they were trying to look for that in the bot lane. They're a little too antsy with the R.
Yeah, I think maybe Bard figured that 420 Weed Dealer was too far away to stop the follow-up Cosmic Binding after the Tempered Fate. But obviously Alistar gets close enough in to stop the persistent stun from coming through. Magical During will get them to safety there, but they also don't really have the damage to even find a kill at this point. So I think maybe just a attempt at a trade, maybe to try and chunk out the enemy team so they can get this dragon, but it does fail, meaning you don't have those cooldowns. Luckily, Aphelios didn't use the Moonlight Vigil, so they still have access to that for this upcoming fight. And Watercat, I really love the decision they made off their first back to, instead of trying to get towards the Last Whisper, or excuse me, the Lost Chapter, they just go for the Boots of Ionia to get that cooldown reduction so they can move the ball as much as possible, continue clearing waves. You understand that you're not really picking the Orianna to have a ton of damage. You're really just picking it for the displacement, for the consistent ball movement in lane and trying to poke your opponent out, trying to push them off the wave. And that is exactly what they're going for. Is Spartan able to pick up this start on the Hextech Drake?
Yeah, first Drake got about 9 minutes. The game's going by really slow here. Nothing going on this game. Plaque kind of getting the better end of the deal on the trades in the mid lane there. Always forget that Victor is super abusive in the lane with if they know how to play with that death laser. So, but right now, I mean, the lane's pretty much been the same for like the past 9 minutes. First Drake going over to the side of CCI here, but nothing really going on. It looks like Gragas, Blingo, he's going for that more AP heavy build there with the Lost Chapter, as the Grubs will get claimed by Sutek for his team. But, and you know, obviously, like I think Grubs are like it's such a placebo. Like they're just not good anymore. Like when they took away those extra 3.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel as good. The only major compliment I will give on that Grub take is that XSV were very decisive in understanding, okay, if we're not gonna, oh, never mind, Shockwave
Mid
comes.
lane, that's a Shockwave, gonna get a little bit of chunk down there, but there goes the Chaos Storm also, but Watercat able to kite on out there with the abilities, but both junglers are here in the mid lane. Plaque using that Ghost, but Sutek gonna get chunked on back there. Plaque already having that level, or that upgrade on the Death Laser here, so gonna have a lot stronger wave clear as he starts building towards that. I forgot that item name for the life of me.
Blackfire Torch.
Yeah, Blackfire Torch as jungle. Spartan going to use that counter strike there, dodge out a lot of damage, but that's gonna be Spartan getting stunned up into the wall with the Cosmic Binding. Lots of trading around the mid lane here, but that's 2 flashes already used by the side of CCI. Let's see if XSV can't take advantage of that.
Yeah, they did give over the Raptors but at the cost of flash from Plaque and Spartan, thanks to the timely roam of Leventian. Good timer for the Bard. Everything else kind of normalizing. The top lane, Gragas, Lost Chapter, he might just...
Ooh.
he is going to get out
He
thanks
has
to
a
the
face
phase
rush,
rush.
yeah. So he
But I'm
should
not
just be
sure
able to get on out
exactly
there.
what that item is going to be. I'm expecting that Amp Tome to go into a Hextech Alternator, but I don't think he's going Ludens. That would be absurd.
No, that would be
But
kind of weird. As bot lane, that's going to be Levantine. Gonna get jumped on there by the Alistar. Alistar not quite having enough move speed there to get on top of Levantine, so he's able to get on out there. Both supports chunk to about half HP there. 420 is going to be a little bit more worse for wear. Spartan is in the bot lane here looking to cover, but as Bard with Ignite and the Cosmic Binding, it's a little bit hard to dive that. So right now, I mean, again, it's just the game is pretty much just dead even. Nothing's really going on. Both teams kind of just playing around a little bit, seeing if they can get something, but it's really not happening. Both teams playing very, very well to make sure that they are not the ones to be caught out on these timers here. As Sutek going to go into the mid lane there, knowing that Victor doesn't have the flash shockwave right on top of him, and that's going to be the Blade's Reach picking up that kill there. Sutek claiming his second kill of the game already, as top lane almost a solo bolo onto Alcoholic, flashing away onto the other side of that explosive cast there, as Alcoholic does have that teleport, so we'll look to go into that top lane here. I think he should finish his Titanic Hydra here. No, he doesn't. He's just getting a couple components, but lots of money going over to XSV. Just that one kill giving him a lot of gold, a lot of reach here in this game so far. As top lane, Blingo, he's under the tower. He's taking a lot of damage there. Using that phase rush, does have the flash, but he's just able to walk on out.
yeah, again, the communication coming out of XSV is very
rocket.
as the Super Mega Death Rocket will go wide. And we're seeing iron completions come out all across the map. I don't love the Deathfire Torch. I think that Orianna could have continued prioritizing the ability haste and the mana, as Spartan, you are getting collapsed on.
He doesn't have flash. He does have a jump, but there goes the Spear's Refuge coming down. But the Tempered Fate across the wall, right on top of Plaque with no flash here once again. And he will get taken out too, helping his jungler. And that's going to be a 4-0 start for XSV here. 2.5k gold lead.
Yeah, Watercat, sit the first game out, and then come in game 2. We'll feed you. We'll get you tons of kills. You can have a blast playing a more damage-oriented Orianna build. And I want to mention, I'm glad that we're down in this bot lane for a moment, because forget about Leventian roaming a lot. We've been talking about how CCI don't really mind just sitting back and scaling. It's a similar concept to game 1 with the Sivir. Obviously, Jinx can be much more of a hyper carry, but I really am telling people, Aphelios, obviously not as much as Jinx, but this is a champion that can focus as a hyper carry as well. The amount of raw stats you get from Aphelios' level ups just being raw stats in themselves, you get to a point where you have so much extra lethality, so much extra attack speed, and you can just soak all of your money into damage. So the Storm Razor comes through, that's extra damage, extra movement speed. Next up, we'll likely just see a stacking of the crit going for the Infinity Edge. Maybe even the Hex Optics has gotten a buff, fares very well on champs as a spike damage item. But looks like for the moment, it is going to be a contest over this dragon.
Spartan, he's on the Drake. Sutek not getting zoned out there. Good Cosmic Binding onto the Alistar here, but they're going to jump right on top of Epic Fail Guy. He will be the first casualty of this fight here, and Sutek will follow shortly after. Leventian is on the wrong side of the rift here. Going to have to run away using the portal to get on out of dodge there, using the slow with the Cosmic Binding, so he should just be able to walk out now and meet up with his mid laner. And as the mid lane tier 1 does fall here in favor of blue team, XSV, they are playing this map very well here to make sure they get something for their troubles. But second trick of the game goes over to CCI.
Yeah, first brick, though, XSV's way. And I think that bot lane fight going so sideways for Hydra really results in that dragon going down. I don't know if Sutek would ever have gotten to a spot where he could have made that a 50-50, because he is in a 1v3 situation, as I do believe that Blue Kayn has been selected I had a feeling. As now, Leviathan didn't recall, just went all the way topside. Rift Herald
Did
is
he?
now being
Oh, you're just saying.
targeted.
I
But
was gonna say he didn't get form yet. He hasn't
oh,
really.
is that
He doesn't have form yet at all yet. No.
Oh, well, that sucks. That sucks for the Kane at this point, 16 minutes into the game. Does look like the Mentian staying out on the map is going to be enough to allow them to just grab this Herald. But yeah, just the positioning of Epic Fail Guy got way too close, allowing Spartan to simply leap strike to get the kill. You just can't get that close.
Yeah, you gotta be like that one meme with Chael Sonnen and Vanderlei Silva. I can't let you get close. Like he just kind of stood a little too close to the sun there. Nice little flash engage there by 420 Wheeler. But Blingo, looking to chunk Alcoholic a little bit here, does have that Titanic Hydra built already, so try to clear that wave. But this Herald will kill that top tower here, and that's going to be a kill onto Alcoholic. Let's see who picks up this one, as Blingo going to get lower and lower, but the Reaping Slash will pick up that kill there. Bot lane, that's going to be Bard getting jumped upon here. The Zab doing a ton of damage, but 420 Dealer, he's going to get behind, but he will not get the stun with the E-Auto, as he's going to pop the ultimate, going to go right under the tower. There goes the Moonlight Vigil, but it won't be enough. Oh my god, Zoki has hit the tower, but it's going to be a double kill on the top side there for the Jax, as it's going to be a successful dive in the bot lane here for CCI also, and that's going to be a 3-man Shockwave, as Watercat, he's going to keep on going. He's throwing the ball all over, left, right, and center, flashing forward with the empowered autos, and that's going to be a double kill going over to Watercat. It was almost a 4-for-0, but Watercat manages to bring it back.
We're getting a pretty tense game right here. Watercat played extremely well at the end of that play to make sure that they could get something back. We're going to get a replay here to showcase what went down in that fight on the top lane. Well, it was a double kill, exactly what we thought it was, and it was just a result of Shen. I think Alcoholic with the Shen play there was a huge part of that, being able to, and here, oh, we are going to get.
Oh, like they weren't even like resetting. They just like
Actually,
saw the Jax, and he was like, you know what? Let me take this. I can take this. Wait, what? Oh no, he just reset. Oh no, it's just the beginning of the play. So yeah. So they're doing the beginning of the play. Obviously, they get the kill onto Alcoholic. Like Blingo, like he was what, like he was like 200 HP. He was real low. So.
I mean, the taunt hits them both, so it prevents them both from using any of their abilities to keep putting damage down. Gets so much.
Oh, that's what happened.
Him.
Oh, he just got greedy with the Herald. That's why. Oh, he got greedy with the Herald, and he just completely whiffs this explosive cast. So wow.
I mean, that gets Spartan right back into this game. 3-1-1. Better KD even than the Kane. I'd assume the
bot lane.
The hold up.
Let's see who's gonna pick up the solo bolo here. As they're just gonna back on out there. Spartan gonna get jumped on. Good cosmic binding there. Epic Fail Guy is here. That's going to be a jump across the wall with the ward. As Leventian, he's hunting. He does have that dead man's place, so he will hold him down. As now he has Rost, and he will pick up that kill. Epic Fail Guy is gonna pick up his first kill of the game here. As slowly, this game's just going really back and forth here. Sutek, or never mind. He used a flash before, but Epic Fail Guy picking up a good chunk of change there. But before you said, like, with Aphelios being like a hyper, he absolutely is. Is the biggest thing like between a good and a great Aphelios player is just knowing how to cycle your guns for team fights. Because red, white don't fight, and then everything else you kind of mess around a little bit with. So it's all about that gun management here. That's the difference between what makes a great Aphelios. As both teams playing around that top side here, kind of getting a little bit of Baron vision. Coming up in about a minute. That's good cosmic binding, not quite getting the stun, but Drake coming up in about a minute. This will be CCI's soul point. Watercat picking up a ton of money, pretty much getting 2 solo towers here in that mid and bot lane.
Yeah, and it's resulted in the Rabadon's death cap coming in second item. This Orianna is going to do so much damage. Want to keep an eye on Epic Fail Guy's inventory right now, as we get 45 seconds until the dragon just hit the base. Sold the Doran's Blade, gets the Infinity Edge, that's 50% crit, and at level 11 does have at least the max AD that Aphelios can get through leveling up. Now starting to get some attack speed, maybe even dipping into the lethality a touch. this is going to be so much incoming damage. And a lot of Aphelioses even, they like it, like the top tier guys, they start the team fight with the purple gun Infernum. It's right before white gun, and you see he has it now so that they can use the ultimate that has the massive AoE explosion, because that at the start of team fights can really turn the tide of things. And then you get towards red white, which is going to be what comes through once this gravitum goes away.
Yeah, CCI, they're just giving up the Drake. They don't really have too much prio on it. I'm kind of surprised because Epic Fail Guy kind of did get a bit of a late recall, so I'm kind of surprised they did just give it up. But, you know, right now, Sutek 2-item Rost here with the Eclipse and Cleaver. Spartan not too far behind, looking to probably he might go for that Gunblade, or he might go for that Dust Dawn. I think he might be going for the Gunblade though. I remember Gunblade is really good, but oh, Baron started up on spawn here by the side of XSV, but they're gonna get spotted by the Scryers by Spartan, so they're just gonna back on out there. But that was a white gun Aphelios. Them chalk rooms are starting to ramp up a bit, and it was getting chunked pretty hard.
I still am shocked though that they decided to take that risk. That could have been a really risky turn. I think maybe they're also thinking about Shen's summoners. Like, can we get a Shen ult? Can we get a
Epic
teleport?
Fail Guy. He's gonna get hit with the counter strike, and he will get taken down under his own tier 1 tower. Teleport coming in from the Gragas as he will look to try to get the kill onto Plaque. Good stun on top of the Jax. He's under the tower, but he should just be able to walk on out there for that to flash away. But Watercat is here to intercept as the autos come through, but it won't be enough as the ball will not get dodged. But that is a big dive here for CCI as they try to knock down that mid lane tier 1 2-for-1. As Blingo, what are you doing? What's he doing? He does have the explosive cat, or no, he doesn't have anymore. So he's just going down. Like, what are you doing? Flash forward there with the shockwave, but it's not going to do enough damage. The barrier is going to soak it all up. So now Jinx is getting a little bit excited here. Let's see if she lands. Oh my god, that's a lot of damage. I stand corrected as Watercat is going to get taken, is going to take down the Jinx there. A bit of a double lift moment there, walking straight into the 2 full item Orianna with the Rab.
Yeah, I did not stutter earlier when I said that this guy had the Rabadon's death cap, packs an enormous punch, only went for those boots of lucidity as a ruse, wanted you to think it was going to be all utility Orianna. Nah, this guy's coming for heads. And now they can actually start up the dragon with the death timers being where they are, no Shen ult, so they don't have to worry about that massive amount of shielding coming through. Mega Inferno Bomb does not get sent out, so there's no chance of a steal. The game has been extremely back and forth, but adding Baron to your hotbar will certainly turn the tide towards your favor.
Yep, about 2.5 minutes with the big purple worm buff here. The gold lead is relatively negligible. It's only about 3k in favor of XSV. But, I mean, a game like this, CCI, they kind of just, I guess, I mean, it's not bad. Like, it's just kind of like falling back a little bit, just a little bit. But like right now, I mean, we haven't really seen like the full potential of a team fight here because like all these fights are really scrappy. So the Watercat is just absolutely annihilating, like 80% KP here in 23 minutes. Plaque gonna pick up that bot lane tier 1. Sutek gonna have to be a little bit careful here playing that 1v1. It will be a Zanya's being built by Spartan, so that is just a very normal build. There is 420 wheat dealer gonna get chunked like crazy there, but for now XSV, they're playing that 1-3-1 split push with the Baron buff, trying to get as much as they can across this map here. As mid lane, I can see a bit of a flank coming out here as they use the portal to get on out, but that's going to be a good tempered fade right on top of the Jax. He does not have the flash, but not going to land that stun. He will get knocked up, but Spartan going to get taken out on that flank there. Sutek doing a nice job to catch him, but Blingo is going to get caught out there, going to get hit with the pulverize, and Zokiaz will pick up his first kill of the game here. As that's a flash forward by Sutek. They wanted to they both had the same exact idea, but nice flash, nice reaction from Zokiaz. Will get out of dodge there. But mid lane tier 2 will go down in favor of XSV. They're knocking on this inhibitor tower, as that's a lot of damage out the Plaque. So 420 wheat dealer forced to use the ultimate already for the gravitum route. So now Sutek, he's going on forward there. Going to land one knockout with the Blades Reach. Good stun there with the Cosmic Binding. As 420 Weed Dealer is going to go down there with the Reaper's Blade. As Orianna will get a one-man Shockwave onto the Victor here. Super Mega Death Rocket not going to land on nobody. And 2 kills going over to Sutek. As XSV, they're going to continue pushing down into this base. And they will break it open at about 25 minutes here. Just as the Baron is about to expire in about 30.
So much continued fighting, and burning that Jinx Flash proved to be so useful. It was almost not worth because you burnt your support and your jungler Flash for it. You'd always trade jungle Flash for AD Flash, but does prove useful. Jinx just cannot get close enough to stop this death ball from XSV rolling forward. I mean, even with Gragas not being there, if you just look at the champs XSV drafted, the top 4, all of them synergize so well, and going forward, putting down as much damage as possible. Then you had Bard on top of all of that. It gives you pick potential, gives you some safety, and continuing Water Cat's just destructive build path. Goes for the Void Staff, not even going for the Crypt Bloom for that team utility, the AoE heal. No, I want the extra 25 AP. I want the extra 10% magic penetration. Does have the Zhonya's, the Seeker's Arm Guard for that defensiveness. Got to get that Medjai's built soon. Your max stacks already. You want to try and get the most value you possibly can. Is Suke now doing their job, just trying to get some more deep vision, looking for an angle to end this game. Both inner turrets still alive on these side lanes. They got to get smart soon about how they're pushing these waves.
Right now, they're kind of just slinking the wave back and forth. They're not really playing too much. They're playing with full prio in enemy jungle, so they're gonna have to be a little bit careful. They have 2 Mountain Drakes, so they are pretty tanky here. Blingo been sitting on that Lost Chapter for a good minute. Look, is he going for a Shadow Flame second item? It's kind of crazy, actually.
No idea what he's. I don't think he knows what he's building. He's had this. He's had the Lost Chapter since before the Rocket Belt. He had the Hextech Alternator. And I thought, I'm like, okay, well, that has to be Luden's. And now he has a Needless, so I have no clue.
Yeah, I think he's going Shadow Flame here. But right now, XSV, they are forcing this siege in the top lane. 6.8k up for them. They don't really have a ton of engagement with a good Tempered Fate onto the tower to turn it off. 2-man Blades Reach, as that's going to be Spartan in the backline with the Counter-Strike. 3-man Counter-Strike in the backline. Super Mega Death Rocket going to pick up a kill. Jig is going to go crazy. 2-man Death. 2-man Shockwave onto the front line here. Flash away by Plaque, but that's going to be a good shutdown onto Water Cat, but he will get, the Jax will get knocked back. No stun coming onto the team. Alcoholic, he's going in, he's going forward. He does not have the dash anymore, but that's going to be a 3-man pulverized by 420 Weed Dealer, but nobody's there to follow up, really. Plaque will pick up that shutdown onto Sutek, and it's going to be a 2-for-2 trade here, support and jungler.
Just a way too deep engage by Sutek. Water Cat also put themselves in a really bad spot, walking too far forward. Does get a decent shockwave, but puts himself in too bad a position to continue fighting. I do like the way that they kind of played this tempo, recognizing that CCI were backing off to collect the minions under the Nexus turret, so none of them back just yet. They push in an extra wave, get a little bit more chunk damage down, and with 20 seconds on Baron, that means that they are going to have a slight advantage opening on to this objective. Only reason that they didn't get wiped in that last team fight is because Blingo found some super clutch body slams to prevent the collapse onto their carries. Epic fail guy now sitting on 3 massive items. This Aphelios cannot be dealt with unless Counter-Strike is up and available. The amount of damage that's going to be put down is enormous, and Shen is going to be just really in a hard spot, trying to go forward and be the front line while also using the ulti.
Blingo, where did you come from? What? Where did he come from? Why was he that deep? Like, what? I don't even know where he came from. And he did build the Shadow Flame. Like, what? I don't even know what happened.
XSV is just doing everything they can to make sure I don't have to watch any of the State of the Union. I told work I couldn't do it, I don't want to watch it, and I have a reason. I'm doing a cast.
Oh, Sutek, he's on that flank as he's going to get CC chained up. The gravity field going down. He's going to flash on forward there, trying to get a bit of a reset, as that's going to be a Temper Fate onto the ADCs. Spartan, he's going straight on it. He just 1v1 the Aphelios in the middle of his team. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade there, though. Jungler for ADC. and that's not going to start nothing. It's the same exact gold lead. Like, you would think with a 6K gold lead, the XSV could kind of like start whatever they want and just kind of blow up whoever they need to. But like, CCI, they don't care. They don't care about the gold lead. They don't care about the wallets, as that's going to be a good knockup onto Watercat here. But he is able to kite on out there. That's going to force the unbreakable will. 420 Weed Dealer slowly getting chunked lower and lower. So he's just gonna have to back on out there. Drake spawning in about 15 seconds. Good Cosmic Binding. Good knockup. That's gonna be Speed's Refuge coming in. Shockwave already used now. And that's going to be a big pick in the mid lane. 420 Weed Dealer. He's gonna go down too. Big explosive cast. Zokias does not have the flash, and he will get taken down. And that could be the end of the game here for the side of CCI here. Jax is up. He's gonna have to try to clear these waves, as it is triple grubs here, as Spartan, he's trying to jump onto the Gragas, as the wave will get cleared by Alcoholic there with the Titanic Hydra. Another wave coming in. It is a cannon wave, but it's 15 seconds on Plaque here. Spartan gonna get chunked like crazy, using the Counter Strike to deny some of that damage, but CC landing on top of Alcoholic, forced dash away there, using the dodge as much as he can, but Sutek will pick up that one, as the Nexus is wide open. Spartan's gonna go down, and that is going to be a 2-0, as, oh, that's gonna be a good Tempered Fate, but 2-0 victory here for XSV here at week 4.
Incredible closing fight for XSV. It was a little bit shaky for a while. They had some sketchy fights, but they finally just get together as 5, walk down the mid lane, kill the members that they find, and able to collect a 2-0 victory over what was thought to be the best team in the Ember Scorch League, and that is thought no longer. Hydras solidify themselves at the top of the table, #1 in the rankings. And you take a look at some of these gold leads they accumulated. Watercat, I don't know where they were in game 1, but XSV have got to be so happy that he came back for game 2.
Absolutely. Like 10-0-10, no deaths. What is that? Like, that's like a 95% KP. This game is absolutely crazy. 298 CS, roughly. I don't know what the game time was, but like, that's absolutely crazy. Like, Watercat was just absolutely balling. Like, immediately reset, got to Rabadon's second item, and then took over the game. Sutek very, very close behind here, but like, it was a little rough there, Oriana, Watercat was getting chunked out like crazy in the mid lane early, but like, once he started, he got like that double kill in the mid lane early on, like, it was just absolutely over from there.
Yeah, and it goes to show you what a player of their skill level can do with an advantage in a game like this, where you're facing 3 melee champs and then 2 very, very squishy backliners in the Jinx and the Victor. We'll say, to be fair, Plaque did score quite a lot of damage in this game, consistently hitting their spells, and there were some rocky moments. You see some plateaus in that gold lead, but in the end, far too great for CCI to overcome. And I think this second game was a little bit more cohesive in the way they wanted to play it, with the hyper scaling of the Victor and the Jinx, and then you have Jax with Alistar follow-up. But again, it just feels like there's one piece missing. Shen, constantly caught between, am I going to be using the Stand United to save one of my teammates, or am I going to be a frontliner finding taunts, finding soaking damage opportunities? It just really doesn't meet the moment. I feel Sion could have been so impactful in a spot like that, but alas.
But now look at the standings. Now the standings get very interesting, because now XSV hold the #1 seed, and TSI move up to, or no, yeah, Crowd Control move down to the 2nd seed. So TSI play XSV next week, or no, wait, or the week after. So they play, or wait, hold up. Yeah, they play next week. So whoever plays that game, whoever wins that game, will now hold 1st seed. So very interesting stuff to see here, getting towards closer and closer towards the end of the season, because all these teams, they're going to make the playoffs. But having that first seed is such a big win because now you get an extra week to take a little bit of a break and whatever, kind of detox a little bit, scrim, experiment a couple things. So, but like looking at these teams, like it's you wouldn't think that this was a battle between two of the top teams in the league. Like
Uh,
these games weren't that close.
no, there were only a few moments throughout game 2 where it felt very competitive, and I think that XSV as an org got to be pretty happy. Hasn't been the best across all Ember leagues for the organization, but here in the Ember Cinder or in Ember Scorch League, they have fared quite well, and we are well past the midpoint of the season, like you mentioned. So every single victory matters extremely more and more. And for an organization that is so prevalent, I mean, they're right now in Aegis, they've got their squad playing in their Master Cap League. So any victories they can pick up, any league wins they can pick up is going to be important for these guys. So happy to see a thriving org in this ecosystem.
Oh yeah, absolutely. XSV, they're gonna go home very happy. They're taking a very dominant 2-0 sweep against the number 1 seed in the Scorch League. But for now, we're gonna see how the rest of these standings start shaping up within the next couple weeks here, because there's only 2 more weeks for the Scorch League before these standings are set in stone and we go straight into the playoffs. But for now, it will be it from us tonight. It is I, Banana Bread XD, and my co-host Jack, and our glorious producer Last Ravent. But that will be it from us tonight. Tune in tomorrow and Thursday for more Ember esports leagues, and we'll see y'all later.
Blinding lights, lost in your eyes, feeling the pressure. You and I, spending the night, chasing forever.